There was this guy on here, and I'm gonna include the picture of the video, in my comments that I made on the video. There's a guy on here. Basically, he was saying that how he was in the middle of sexual activity, and when he was hitting it, the girl's, her vagina parts was smelling like fish, and he said even though it smelled, he still proceeded to, you know, do his business and finish and go and take him a shower. And I told him in the comments, I said, that's biblical. When there's this fishy smell down there, it's an indication of an unclean spirit. Fish, usually is a marine kingdom spirit, and it's even in the Bible. It talks to a marine spirit when it mentions Leviathan. You can find that in the book of Job. I know, for instance, you can find it in Job, specifically. I think chapter 39. It might be 40. Where I've seen the word marine, okay, like a marine spirit. And so, this is the thing, what I want to say. I told him this, and he said, "You just making stuff up." I'm making stuff up, but you're inserting your penis in another woman's vagina, and it stank. But I'm making stuff up. I think you making stuff up. I think you're delusional, but that's just me. Anyway. So he just cracking up a clock, mumbling and cackling, blah, 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 just having a grand old time. Him and his homeboy, they cracking up. I had to hit it. I had to finish. I had to get my nut. He was doing all that. Just so proud about what he was doing. And me looking from the outside in, I'm just looking at it that's not even funny. You have been susceptible to unclean spirit. Abba speaks about unclean spirits. Unclean. If a woman is, first of all, you are in fornication anyway. I'm not judging nobody. I'm just saying I didn't got my cheeks clapping when I was in the world, so I understand. But like I said, when you have a vaginal odor, usually it's because you have an unclean spirit. There's something there that is you have been marked. Amen. And so this is the thing. You have been marked as unclean. Your vessel is unclean because you have allowed penetration to happen outside of marriage. And I know a lot of people don't want to talk about that. They say, "Oh, you making stuff up." It actually makes sense when you really think about it, because you have allowed venereal diseases. You have allowed a venereal disease to enter you that comes into close by contact. Not everything is spiritual. Through the pineal gland, right? Whatever it is, those liquids and fluids are coming into your sacred area, your vagina, and it causes things to happen. But not only that, a lot of things are spiritual. You can't get rid of you can't use antibiotics for what you catch spiritually. Amen. And so when you are in sexual fornication, you are out. Okay, this is how I'm gonna be real with y'all. How I really found out how this works. When you are in sexual fornication, the enemy is marking it down. And he's finding something to accuse you to the Father of. Amen. That comes with its own jurisdictions. When you are when you are in fornication, you are having sex outside of marriage. That comes with its own jurisdiction. Everything, there's jurisdictions. There's things that there's a governmental consequence for using your earthly vessel outside of the will of God. I'm not going to sit up there and sugarcoat nothing no more. I'm not going to be gaslit. I know what's going on around here. The enemy, through a witch on here, her name is Jada the Boxer. Through a witch on here, she told me, Jada does not know me. When I was in the world, I used to have a lust issue and I had a problem with masturbation. This woman goes on one of her videos and said, that's why you masturbate. How would she know that? I had said this. I did a video where I said when Moses killed that Egyptian man, I think he was Egyptian, for beating on the Hebrew slave. I believe that's the story. But nobody saw Moses when he killed that man. But when he went back or something, when that man was beating the slave, nobody saw Moses kill the man that was beating the slave. When he went and was supposed to, I think it was to stop a fight or something like that. When he went to go stop the fight, they said, "Who are you?" The demon in them, because they were in the spirit of fighting. The fighting is a spirit as well. When I believe that's what it was. So don't quote me on that. Just go check for yourself. But the man turns around and tells Moses, "Who are you to tell us what to do when you just killed a man?" But notice in the word it says that nobody was there when he did it, because the enemy takes an account of everything you do out in sexual perversion, right, out in sin. He takes account of it, and he goes to the Father and accuses you of it. We think that we can sit up there and masturbate. We think we can sit up there and be a sexual sin, stealing and lying and thieving and stuff, and that nobody's watching us and nobody's keeping account, but God is watching everything. So when she said that's why you masturbate, if she was never there when I had done my masturbation, how would she know that? She knew that because she was a witchcraft. She was doing witchcraft on me, and I've already called Jada out on that already. I'm not trying to start nothing. I'm just letting you know that's how she knew that, because the enemy is always accusing you of something. And so when you are sitting up there having sexual intercourse with a woman that is not your wife, she could be marked. It's a high possibility she was marked. It could be she was having sex with she was having sex with more than one man, right? And it could be a woman has done witchcraft on her. That's a real thing. People do witchcraft on other people to make your body spells, to make your hair fall out, they do beauty spells. They do a lot of spells. So it could be a number of things why, but when that fishy smell is down there, it's an indication of a marine spirit, because the waters. I know this is crazy. I know it's wild, but this is how Abba gave it to me. I'm like, the waters. Those are your waters. And so it's like, when you are in a place like me, I'm a seer, so I can see things. So it's hard to explain that to people that are in the world that don't see things like that. They think you crazy or schizophrenic or you crazy. But when you really pay attention to it, even when you notice it like this, when you are in a narcissistic relationship with a narcissistic person, they're doing the same thing to you. They're draining you. They're doing witchcraft and spells on you. Your hair falling out. You're losing your job, and you're trying to, you might have bodily things that's happening. You might, things might be happening to you. You might be getting diseases too with them, because it's an unclean spirit that you are having sex with. So I hope that you guys understand. It's just like when you sometimes you might not be able to get pregnant, because that's also something that's going on. That you having sex with unclean spirit is blocking you, preventing you from having a baby, or preventing you from a lot of things in life. Like, y'all gotta really think about that. I know it's hard to say, but something's fishy, and when something is fishy, you should never go and finish. You should be like, you know what, you're unclean. I don't want to go ahead and finish with this, because I'm already, that person is marked as unclean. She's unclean. My vagina does not smell like fish, and I haven't had my vagina has had odors when I was in wrong proximity with men who I was sleeping with, who I should not have been sleeping with. But ever since I've been out of sexual sin, I'm not saying the whole time that has happened to me before, but all throughout these 4 years I've been celibate, never has my vagina smelled like fish. When I was dealing with one man only, even though still it never smelled like fish. But I'm just saying, when you having sexual intercourse with these people that you do not know, they could be unclean. I'm just letting you know. My vagina don't smell like fish. I've never, even on the mustiest of days when I'm in the gym, never have I ever smelled like fish. That's not even a natural smell. Your vagina should not be smelling like fish at all. There's no way that my vagina will be smelling like fish. Ever. Never. That's not it smell like, when it be sweating and it got that smell, but that it's not like, no, there should be no like outlandish smell coming from your vagina. No. And as a man, same thing. I don't know, but I'm just, I came on here, something smells fishy. Take it or leave it, y'all. I tried. Bye.